And she told me to tell you never to her again. And if you haven't heard, she's a bad chick, even though I haven't been. No. Yet you still didn't try to test me by raising an angry hand. Put it down, put it down. I'm leaving, don't try to stop me. I'm late and she is waiting. My love for me is too much, so I can't stay. And her name is me. And she loves me more than you'll ever know. I finally see that loving you and loving me just don't seem to work at all. So patiently, she's waiting on me to tell you that she needs love and to choose between the two. So if you know if I got to choose, I choose me. I better go with me. Oh, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, family. Welcome, 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 welcome to the Mental House with me, your host. I am Khadijah. You know, I really want to thank Tamia for that beautiful song. It's so early in the morning, but that song was um, really fitting for the conversation I really need to have this morning. Um, and this story is really about, this video really is just to make a comment on Chris Brown and Karruche Tran, and basically the domestic violence that they find themselves involved in. I really thought twice about doing this because this conversation is really, really close to home for me. A lot of y'all know that in 1996, my only sister, well, my mother adopted her when she was like 2 or 3 days old. So she was basically the only sister that I really, really grew up with from a baby up until the age of 28 years old. In 1996, she was a victim of domestic violence. Okay, and in doing this story and preparing for it, I really saw found some emotional pockets in my heart that really I haven't even begin to resolve. Okay, and this story with Karruche and Chris Brown just brought it up for me because I really love Chris Brown. I think he's a great entertainer, and he keeps R&B alive. And for those of us who love soul and R&B music, we welcome young pups like that keep the music alive. However, as with so many of us, the damage that we experience in our own early lives really show us, really come out, and really, just really manifest themselves, come out in full force in our interpersonal relationships. We talk about it all the time. And obviously, this dude has got some issues that he really needs to address. I'm saying what I say out of love. I'm also saying what I'm saying out of concern. And I'm also saying what I'm about to say out of respect. And I'm going to start with the respect. I respect Karruche. Not only have I been a victim of domestic violence, I've been a perpetrator of violence, whether knowingly or unknowingly. Um, I've witnessed domestic violence, uh, willingly or unwillingly, and so my vibration for taking trauma uh, was very high. I speak about, even though I didn't see my mother get physically abused, I saw her and my father emotionally communicating through arguments, way too much for a child. And that negative energy kind of set the tone and the vibration for the things that I was able to accept in my interpersonal relationships. So when I look at Karruche and because they're very young people, and I think about how domestic starts. You first think that you're doing something well because you've landed a Chris Brown, or even though no matter how y'all relationship started, you know. Well, no, I think the whole world knows now because I think Brown exposed it to social media about y'all's escapades and stuff like that. That right there was an early sign of you not so much taking him back, I don't think because you love him so much, but because now you're codependent. And I believe I have no proof of any of these things, so let me just say what I think. I think that financially you were dependent on him a lot. And what happens is, in a situation like that, you almost set the foundation for his abuse and for your codependency to just explode. When you saw the devastation and what had happened between Chris Brown and Rihanna, then you thought that he needed love and you tried to give it to him, and then you loved him more than you loved yourself. I don't know what situation had you gotten yourself into and just how much you were in with him paying your house note, paying your car note, paying your whatever. You live in, and that breeds in that person the ability, in a lot of guys' mind, to feel like they own you. Okay? So, you put up with this obviously a long time in order for you to finally get to the point where you chose yourself. And for that, I respect you because I know it was difficult. And it is him, yes, that brought you to the limelight, but it is you who are sustaining yourself right now. And for that, young lady, I'm proud of you. Be proud of yourself, and continue to stay healthy. And realize now that you're going to have to do the internal work to figure out why you continue to stay attracted or involved with someone and take the abuse. And if it was just for financial, then that's something that you have to evaluate about yourself as well. But if it's because your grid and you're vibrating off that level that makes it feel normal, then that's something that you might want to examine as well. So you won't continue to attract Chris Browns into your life because you haven't done the work. Now, in terms of Christopher Maurice Brown, young man, I really think that Chris has witnessed a lot of things that he is not particularly, he's very angry about, that he's probably witnessed as a young boy. Okay? Because anytime a man has that much anger towards a woman, and this is not once now, this is a couple times where you've done some things that are allegedly done some things that are very questionable. And at this point, in order for the judge to give her a restraining order on you, I don't even know if I need to say allegedly, because obviously there was enough proof and evidence for the judge to tell you to stay 100 feet away from her brother and her mother. So that means, Chris, that you are leaving a trail of madness. And when you use drugs, that just exasperates the situation. Now, I know you're young, rich out there in Hollywood, and you don't feel like anybody can tell you anything. But I see you going down the same path as so many others who thought they could beat drugs and do drugs and still do these wild antics. It's either insane asylum, jail, or death. That's it. There is no other out when you're using narcotics. You know, And so I know how accessible it is to you. I know how many perks you get. But that is a testament to how much discipline that you must see for your, you must begin to use and try to seek help for. Because right now you got a lot of deep-seated anger issues, and you need to be checked. You really need to be stopped. Because at this point, you really think it's okay for you to punch women in the stomach and things of that nature. I mean, the house where you said you wanted her to have a baby, and how can you say that in one breath and in another breath you're punching her? That doesn't make a lot of sense. And then I saw the video where you said something to the effect that you one of those kind of guys where if a woman want to get away from you, you're gonna stalk her and this, that, and the other, and you think it's funny. You know what that means? That means you need help, honey. You need some serious freaking help, because that's the kind of stuff that gets people killed. I know. I know. My sister and her partner used to fight all the time, and she used to call me on the phone, and she would say things to me like, somebody's gonna die tonight. He got this gun. He got a shotgun pointed right at me, and that's right. That's okay, cause I got this Glock pointed right back at him. And she would call me on the phone, and I would bear witness to this madness. And I'm on the other phone going, "What the hell is wrong with y'all? Please don't do this. What is y'all gonna kill yourself?" And ultimately, my sister was a victim of domestic violence. In 1996, again, like I said, she was killed. And there's a hole in my heart that that she used to feel. And she's no longer here because she didn't know how to get away out of a relationship when it was too hot to handle. And that's what happens to a lot of women. Much more than I care to mention. And I hear a lot of these guys from the MGTOW, and I'm going to go off a little bit because y'all know how old people do. I'm going to go off. I hear a lot of these guys from the MGTOW community talking about, men going their own way and, women are this, that, and the other now. Well, you guys have to really understand why those laws had to come into play. So maybe you don't remember because maybe some of you were barely born. But see, it used to be a time when men used to just beat the shit out of women and nobody gave a damn. They used to beat women from all up and down the block. Servicemen, they could beat their wives and nobody would do a damn thing about it. I know a woman who was married to a Marine and lived on the base, and how they would he would just whenever he felt like it, his frustration, he would take him out on her. Nothing she could do about it. She could talk to his you know officers and people that were higher up than him, and they felt that the man's home was his castle. Or if you called the police on your husband because your husband was kicking your ass, the police didn't remove somebody like they do today. This was basically the man was the king of his house. And men liked it that way. Okay? Because women were like slaves. They're part of their property. Okay, so this is why these laws had to come into place with the domestic violence and this and the other. So now it does seem like women are getting the better end of the deal. But trust me, this is a man's world. Okay? And the laws that have been set up in place were so archaic that something had to be done. Something had to be done. Okay. Now, maybe the white woman's fight was different than the black woman's fight. That is definitely true. But one thing we all shared in common was the fact we were being treated like shit. That was just that simple. Okay? So, now that there's opportunity and options for you to stop subjecting yourself to this type of abuse, people need to understand that there's a lot of mental components that go along with why you stay in a relationship as long as you do when somebody is doing that and whipping on you in that shape, form or fashion. If I had anything to say to Chris Brown's mother, who probably could be my daughter, I would say, honey, what did you do to that young man? What did what did he see? What has got him? Because little boys are very protective of their mothers. And listen. I don't claim to be a psychiatrist or a therapist or none of this, but this is just what I know so far, being on the planet. And they have a different type of a protective spirit over their mother. So when they're in a little body and they can't do anything, and they see these men running in and out of their mother's bedrooms or doing all, what they internalize is something totally different than what a girl internalizes. Okay, and then the hatred, usually that this little boy grows up to be able to perpetuate back on, in his interpersonal relationship, usually come right back to how he feels about and what has happened and what he's bear witness to from his mother. Nobody want to deal with that, but we gotta. So Chris, and the fact that I know that he threw a brick through his mother's window already let me know the dynamics there is real hot. But if you don't get yourself together, young man, you're going to end up in one of those three places: dead, in jail, or in a nut house. Because that's what happens when you get to the state. There's no other way you can go now. You've already been high. You've been as high as you can go. You've traveled the world. You've made money. You're rich. So that's makes it very difficult for you to listen to anybody. Makes it extremely difficult. But that can be the death of you as well. I heard you out there being extorted, and you got people all in your house that really you pay. They're living off your talent. Right now, if that's where you want to live your life, nothing's good gonna come out of that, brother. Nothing's gonna come out of that young man. Nothing. And Karruche, I commend you. I respect you. I honor you for honoring yourself. That nobody had to wake up and hear that Chris Brown and Karruche got into some kind of violent altercation and one of y'all ended up dead. I'm glad you chose yourself. So I had to do this video because, like I said, it was so close to home, and it just reminded me so much of my sister and how much stuff she kept, and let alone the stuff I was exposed to. But she's not here anymore. And Karruche, you did the right thing. You did something that she would never do. Whatever, because her circumstances, she didn't do. Okay? All right. So, I'm going to go now. If you like what you hear, please like and subscribe and share. I'll see you next time in the mental house. Bye, y'all.